Well, what a different way to start the European season in 2019. The Spanish Grand Prix not really changing much. Mercedes won to the 5th of the season, obviously just continuing the run of their best start to a Formula 1 team ever, and obviously of course in Mercedes' career. And then skip ahead 2 weeks to Monaco, the round 6, and a really thrilling, emotional, very entertaining and a very different and unique race, as I say, for round 6. And the 77th race in about 90 years around the street of Formula 1 around the street of Monte Carlo. So obviously it was really, really great for round 6, I say, in Formula 1. So obviously we're going to go off to Canada, but when we get back, we are right in the thick of the European season, and obviously it's going to be really, really juicy. So yes, welcome back. Obviously it's been a few weeks since you've seen my ugly mug on camera. The F1 debate has just come out, I think it was yesterday, or it should be anyway, with both me and Jordan on. So obviously, yes, I am back after being away for a few weeks. Now, obviously, firstly, before I start again, I'll have said this in the episode before, but congratulations, well done to Jordan, well done to Jordan for doing the episodes on his own, especially the F1 debate shows. You know, they are very hard to do, harder than you might think, even just to do it, you know, one person talking for, you know, the length that they're doing. Obviously, there's no second opinion. So, yes, well done to him. For that, and obviously yes, he did with the previews and the reviews of both Spain and obviously the very entertaining one at Monte Carlo. Yes, so I am back. I've been away 2 races, obviously back at the job that I was telling you about last year. I did make a video last year where I did explain a little bit about that, so yes, go and please check that out. There'll be a link in the description. My summer of Formula 1, where I talked about the Belgian Grand Prix and the Italian Grand Prix of 2018, which I worked at. I also went to go to watch the race, so I was at the Le Comte Chicane General Mission for Belgium, and the Parabolica General Mission Grandstand for the Italian Grand Prix, and then I also go and tell you about Singapore, but I did go there for my 21st, so that was very special. Yes, so I have been working away for the 2 races for Spain at the Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona around 5, and yes, I've been working away at the Monaco Grand Prix around the street of Monte Carlo around 6. And yes, I was very, very fortunate enough to be able to go to those races. Yes, I was general mission for Spain and also for Monaco. So if you're new to these kind of videos, this is the second one and the last one that I'll be doing in this, because obviously I'm not actually doing any more races after this, is just to basically tell you about my experience at the races, you know, how I felt the race went. So again, it'll be a little bit like a review show for me, because you've only got Jordan's side, even though I have been sending my thoughts and opinions, obviously, after the 2 races. Some photos and videos to go alongside that. And yes, I mean, if you are considering going to these races, I do think that they will be very, very good for you, because then you'll be able to watch this and, well, yeah, I mean, I'll be showing you where I sat, where the videos and obviously my experience, and you'll be able to think, well, if I go there, maybe I will follow in Lyle's footsteps and go where he went. Basically, yes, so obviously which race has more bang for your buck, which makes the race is going to be more enjoyable. And of course, it's Formula 1 in general, so both of them are going to be very entertaining. So obviously, let's jump in to the first round that I did, or the first race that I went to of 2019, which was the 2019 Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah, so that was a really, really special race, round 5, and the first race in Europe. Now, firstly, when we headed into this race, there was a little bit of controversy, because the Spanish Grand Prix, obviously being in Catalonia, being in the Spanish and French region of Catalonia, was facing their problems, obviously, with their independence a few years ago. Hence why the Spanish government wasn't funding the track. So obviously we're not going to get into this, but yes, we had been talking about the Spanish Grand Prix and possibly not being on the calendar for the next year. And firstly, before I even went, the view from what I could see was that, yes, the grandstands weren't very, very full. So I was thinking, yes, the fans aren't really, you know, one to be a big fan of the track, be a fan of the Spanish Grand Prix. You know, it's not. There is obviously, yes, other places that are much bigger fans of that. Very strange, you know, Haas, their European base is in Barcelona, and they have had a Spanish driver on the grid with Fernando Alonso, 2-time world champion. He brought in a lot of income with Renault and things like that. Ferrari, there is still a big Ferrari base from that, and I do think that was left over from Fernando Alonso. And And yes, of course, Carlos Sainz, Toro Rosso, Renault, and of course now McLaren. And again, that did show there was a lot of McLaren support there for Carlos Sainz, and even British driver Lando Norris. That was really, really good to see. McLaren definitely needing some push. McLaren Honda, can't think of anyone else that would be a big fan of McLaren outside of the UK and Spain for obviously Fernando. But now it is definitely good, and that was great to see. You know, a lot of Fernando ex-Fernando flags, a lot of Carlos flags, especially with McLaren and of course Lando. So yes, that was really great to see. So yes, I headed to the track on the Saturday. So obviously I managed to watch, you know, the Saturday and the Sunday session. Really, really special. I think I managed to watch the Formula 3. I got there at the Formula 3 qualifying, Formula 2 qualifying, Formula 1 practice, and of course the qualifying. But the big one for me, which I really enjoyed watching, was the Formula 2 race. I actually sat where Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg actually crashed in 2016. So I would have been there for the race. There was no television screen though, which, you know, I did really want to be next to. General admission, a little bit of a tip for you guys if you're watching. If you do go general admission, it is fantastic, but make sure you are in front of a television screen. They have them all around the circuit, but yes, for example, with Belgium and Italy, I wasn't. And for Spain and Monaco, I was, especially Spain. There was a big one in front of where I was, which I'll be getting to a little bit later. So yes, that definitely just helps. You can track where everyone is on. And of course, that spot where they crashed wasn't. But it's great to see the start. Really, really fantastic. A Formula 2 race. Really, really great. I'm getting more into Formula 2 now. Obviously, my favourite driver is Dutch driver Nick de Vries. Obviously, with now German driver Mick Schumacher getting in there, and it's getting very spicy in the Formula 2. So make sure you go and follow, make sure you're keeping on track with that and following that, because that is a great formula to watch. And so, yes, watched the race from that point. It was a great position, especially at the start. I got a video of that, which was really, really special. Yeah, so the Saturday was really, really great. Some great attendance, as you can see from where I was in the photos and the videos. It was a great general admission zone where I was. There was about 4 that were on the track that would really emphasise that were the best places to go, and there were 2 of those 4 which, as I say, were in front of television screens, which I believe is the best way to basically to watch the Formula 1. You know, you get to see them on track, yes, and you get to watch them on the television screen, which is really, really important. And of course, especially because you can track, where everyone is on the screen. So yes, but the big day was, of course, the Sunday, the race day. So I was really, really excited to go. It's beaming sunshine at this point. It'd been a little bit chilly throughout the weekend. It was heading like that into race day, but then the sun came out, which is really, really great. I went with my Red Bull top on, Max Verstappen cap, the 33 cap, Max Verstappen lanyard, which I got in Singapore, which I was really, really excited to wear. I don't think I've ever been excited for something like that before, but I was really, really excited to wear a Max Verstappen lanyard. Put my ticket in there. It was very, very special. So I headed off to the race, and again, I got there a little bit late because, again, obviously I've been working beforehand. So obviously I could only go when I'd finished what I had to do. And I got there for the Porsche race, the Porsche Super Cup race, which was about midday. Now, the thing with general admission is that you have to get there really, really, really early, or at least the Formula 1 fans do, because if you don't, and especially the big races, but really anywhere, if you don't get there in time, if you don't get there, soon, obviously it is a first come first serve, as you'll probably know. So again, if you don't get there, you don't get a good spot. Now, Spain wasn't too bad. You know, I got a good spot. You know, I wanted to sit where I wanted to sit, so that was obviously very good for me. I was just standing next to the flag at the back. Obviously, I didn't want to mess in with the melee of people, you know, getting the sunbeds out, the towels out like it was a sunbed. But yeah, it was really, really good. And also another general admissions top tip is if you are in general admission, now guys, you are Formula 1 fans out there, I really doubt you'll be doing this, but even if you're thirsty, even if you're hungry, even if you don't like the other race that's on, don't leave your spot, because I actually couldn't believe it. You know, there was people that were leaving the spots to go and like get drinks and stuff like that. You know, one, the queues are going to be immense, but just don't leave your spot. You know, you need to camp, you need to put your base there, and just don't move for anybody. You need to just, be a rock and just stay there the whole day. And I know that can be quite hard as well, because you might not like the formulas. I mean, I've got to, let's admit, Porsche isn't the most entertaining thing to watch. That's probably why they do, because I know people wouldn't watch Porsche if it wasn't for Formula 1. And there was a lot of standing about. Obviously, from the Porsche to the Formula 1 race is normally about 3 hours, where, if you're not on the pit lane, if you're not watching the action, you're just sitting there, standing there. It is quite boring. But yes, obviously, a top tip: just don't leave, because you will. That's really the only way to keep, especially big races like Monaco and Silverstone, to keep your position. So yes, obviously, I know you guys are going to do that. You're big Formula 1 fans. So yes, obviously I stayed there. A lot of people left, but I got a good spot, and as you can see, it was absolutely jam-packed, rammed full of general admission people. Now, again, like I just said at the start, about the fans. Yes, they will have obviously preferred general admission. It's not actually that expensive. Just to let you know, for a 3-day pass at general admission, it was €141. As of this race, which might be the last, but I don't know. So it was €141 for the entire 3 days general admission. It's about about 130 UK pounds, 150 US dollars. It's actually really not that bad. It's much cheaper than a lot of races that they do. And so yes, obviously, if it isn't still on the calendar at the moment, no real news, but yes, it's actually not that bad. And obviously that opens the floodgates for other races as well, to think that they might be as cheap as that. But yes, so general admission, really, really popular, and it was definitely the best bang for your buck to go general admission. Great spot as well, especially if you get one on time. So, people go on time. I got there, good time, standing at the back next to the flags, amongst a lot of Max fans, a lot of Dutch fans. Obviously, you Dutch fans, come from all corners of, Holland, to watch all of the European races. Not even Europe, again, like I said in the other video, Singapore, there was a lot of Dutch fans there. Now that Zandvoort has now been added to the Formula 1 calendar for 2020, the buzz is already electrified. Again, working within for the Formula 1 campsite, talking to the Dutch people, even not Dutch people, was really, really great. Actually, we had Lego Max, which is the Dutch guy who wears the big orange lion costume, staying with us. I didn't actually get a photo with him. I really, really wanted to. But yes, obviously, Lego Max, Dankjewel for staying with us if you're watching us out there. But yes, it was really, really great to see that. So yes, race rolled by just beforehand. In the driver's parade, Carlos Sainz, a really, really big fan. He was going out, he was signing autographs, he was on the track, he was getting interviewed personally, which I thought was a really, really big touch. We have multiple British drivers, so not always they get the privilege to do that. Many other countries, I don't think Fernando did that much, but yes, for Carlos's first race at McLaren, and to be honest, a big hitter, it was really good for him to get that. Also, Lando Norris did get a lot of fans, a lot of shout out, and obviously some big interviews for that weekend, obviously being teammates with him, so that was really, really good. Now, the race rolled by, at 3 o'clock local time, and it was really, really special too. Was some big buzz, as basically the circuit quite small. You can feel the electricity from anywhere. It was really, really amazing. So yes, obviously watching the race was really, really special. The noise of the cars was incredible, watching them go uphill around the big corner, obviously going onto the second DRS zone. It was very, very special. Obviously the noise was electric, and all the fans were electric, obviously standing up for the first lap, and the last lap was really, really good for them. So obviously watching the race at home might not have been very entertaining. I know Jordan didn't find it that entertaining, but obviously, as I said to him last year, as I've said to everyone in the other races, it doesn't matter if you go to a race and it's black flagged on the first lap or there's a safety car over. I mean, me and Jordan went to the 2016 Silverstone Grand Prix where it was a safety car start. Now, you can't get more boring than that, guys. And we still thought it was an epic Grand Prix and an epic weekend. So whatever race you go to will always be great. So obviously, I forgot my rating I gave it. I think he gave it quite a low one, you know, mid tables, 5 out of 10. But for me, it was still a 10 out of 10. Getting to go there, getting the experience, getting amongst everything like that. All the fans, you know, all the Max fans, all the Lewis fans, all the Carlos fans. Obviously, some great support from him was really, really incredible. The circuit did a really great job as well. Obviously, at the end, we all got to walk around the track. So I've got a few shots of me doing that. Obviously, I didn't make it too fast. I had to go back to the grind. But yes, it was really, really special. Just to let you know quickly, I did actually try to make a Monaco Grand Prix preview a segment walking around the track, but it was way too noisy, and yes, I needed my microphone to do that. So obviously I didn't have that with us because who brings earphones to a race? So that was very, very special to do. As the Grand Prix is great, you know, the track is really, really good. I'll be very sad if it's not on the calendar next year, but obviously that is not for us to say. So yes, the Spanish Grand Prix really, really good, and I could even give it my personal rating, a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved being there. It was incredible. Some great support, some great on-track action, great seeing the cars. Charles Leclerc was my driver of the day just because I just found he was the most exciting driver to watch. I loved seeing his car go past number 16, the Scarlet Red. It was really, really incredible. Lewis did an amazing job. Everyone, Sebastian Vettel still gets some big fans at the Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously, won here, I think it was 2000, won here a few years. 2011, it was a big race for him. And yes, just he seems to have a big fan there. Obviously, I said a lot of Ferrari fans still left in Spain. So obviously that was really exciting as well. Obviously, didn't get to see too much action. You know, no one really going off. I got to see some Formula 2. Yeah, you know, somebody going off into the gravel there, but obviously not much. Not what you pre on, but yes, I didn't get to see much action. Just a lot of cars going fast, going around in a circle. So that was my Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously, the next round, round 6, which was the Monaco Grand Prix.
It was just a different world yesterday. It felt so good, and I really had fun.
I suppose the thing about the midfield is that it's so very tight that you can be at the top and the hero and just a few tenths behind. You know, it all seems lost. In many ways, though, does that keep up the adrenaline, the excitement for you?
Absolutely. I mean, fighting for P6 was absolutely like pole position. You know, you get P6 and you just feel that's the maximum. Well, then you look at the times and Ferrari Vettel was only 10th and a half in front, so then you realize, okay, could have done more, but...
The hairpin, but here they come to complete lap one. Hamilton ahead of Bottas, then Verstappen, Vettel, Ricciardo in 5th, and Magnussen, Gasly upper place, Sainz in 8th, Kvyat 9th, Albon 10th.
So yes, I rolled into this, obviously, around the street circuit of Monte Carlo. Now, firstly, I actually didn't get there until the Saturday night into Monte Carlo, and it is such a special place. Now, again, guys, if you're not a Formula 1 fan, or you are, but you don't want to go during the race, please go and visit that place. If you are not, obviously, it's very much... I was told it wasn't much different to France, it's much different to Nice, but boy, was I wrong, because it really, really is. Stepping foot there is absolutely incredible. I've been nowhere like that, you know, in my life ever. You know, really busy, but really an incredible place. It just felt really, really hallowed ground. It was really special to be there. So, but obviously the big thing was the Monaco Grand Prix, which was on the Sunday. Now, the Monaco police, you know, did a very good job, you know, guiding people, but it was very, very busy around those. So my ticket, which full price was €100. So again, Le Rocher for the Sunday, you can only buy individual tickets at Monaco. So €100 for Le Rocher, which is a general admission zone, one of the only general admission zones at the Monaco Grand Prix. So €100 for the Sunday, it's actually not too bad, but obviously, so bang for your buck, average, obviously that is quite expensive to stand, add a bit of grass, but you are in the richest city in the world. So obviously, and the most, and obviously the jewel in the crown in Formula 1. So yes, obviously make it how you were, but yes, they were the prices. So yes, obviously I rolled by, big walk to Le Rocher as we parked on the other side of Monaco. So as I got there, security obviously very, very busy. Le Rocher is the most popular place, and it had the most people. I think it was something like 20,000 people were in Le Rocher, and over 60,000 people for the entire weekend. As I say again, very expensive, so a lot of people do watch on the Thursday. So if you see someone on the Thursday, they might not be there for the Saturday. So a big turnaround, and I'll say 20,000 strong for the Grand Prix. And I got there at 10:30. And yeah, the 20,000 were already there. A lot of people were already parked there. As soon as you got through security, people were standing. Some people were even happy to get a view of the circuit, which was, you know, through little trees, like a little, you know, a little slit to watch it through. It was really, really, really busy. Now, obviously, as Formula 1 fans, guys, you want the best spots. Obviously, I went in pursuit of that. Going past all these people of different nationalities, you know, different cultures. Obviously, everyone else wants the best spot. So it was really hard to find one. I did find a very good spot, which obviously you can see from the photos and the videos. I was very much wedged in. I was between a group of Germans who were wearing for Sebastian Vettel Ferrari gear. So obviously a lot of Seb fever in this, which obviously I was really happy to see. And I did say that he was going to win the race. Obviously, boy, was I wrong. But yes, I did say that. Ferrari fans were quite good. And on the other side of me was some Italians who were wearing Red Bull. Obviously you can be fans, you know, whatever you want. Obviously I'm British, but I support Max. I do think that was more Toro Rosso, but I really don't know. And obviously, yes, again, you know, different people. There were some Charles Leclerc fans, a lot of Max fans. Again, there was a Dutch family next to me. Obviously brought everyone, you know, down, you know, mum, dad, brother, cousin, blah blah blah, you know, great auntie, to watch Max Verstappen. So that was very, very special. Obviously next year won't have to travel very far to go to Zandvoort. So obviously I'm very, again, just every time, you know, every race, everything, it just gets me really more excited for Zandvoort, because as a circuit, it's not that entertaining, okay? I will admit. You know, Max Verstappen even said it is very much like an 80s circuit. They've got a lot of work to do, but in terms of fans, it's going to be immense, and the electricity is going to be electrified. And I know for a fact, guys, that the tickets are very, very, very rare. You know, forget about the Champions League final. You know, forget about everything, you know, that's big that you want to go to. You know, the Super Bowl, whatever. The Dutch Grand Prix is literally going to be there. You know, like the 2019 Rugby World Final in Tokyo. You know, they will be hard to get, But the Zandvoort Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix in 2020 will be even harder, and that is no word of a lie. But obviously, yes, try and get there. It will be very, very special. I know for a fact that me and Jordan have been talking about it, and we're going to hopefully try and go there as well. Obviously, not very far from us. I think it's just a straight ferry down to Amsterdam. So yes, we'll obviously be trying to do that. So yes, a lot of fans from different places, like every race, was there. So we rolled by in La Roche. The first event that I got to saw around the streets of Monte Carlo was the Porsche Super Cup.
Qui va avoir du mal à rééditer sa victoire au Barcelone, très certainement. Le passage très spectaculaire.
Now, obviously, it was very special to see that. The cars weren't as loud. I was expecting the streets to just roar because, you know, it's amplified, it's you know, it's pushed in, you know, it echoes. Very much like Singapore did. You know, you could hear Singapore from literally the other side of Singapore. You could hear the noise. This one wasn't that bad, but it was still great. The noise was really, really great. So yes, I personally could see them going up the hill from Zandvoort, I hate saying that because it sounds like Zandvoort, Zandvoort, the corner, out of the tunnel, basically bits and bobs, but obviously on the camera you can't really see that. But the main thing was obviously coming out of the swimming pool chicane and down that little straight towards Raskas, obviously taking the corner onto the home straight. But the big thing for me and the most entertaining was the pit lane. Now in Monaco, unless you're in Grandstand G, I think it's called, you can't see the pit lane. And the people that watch the pit lane can't watch the race start. So obviously that is very much muddled from there. So again, you know, many people probably don't actually watch the pit lane. You know, you've got to choose one or the other, but it was very special to watch the pit lane. Obviously, I got a lot of videos, Charles Leclerc, but the big one that was really special was I did capture the moment where Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen collided in the pit lane.
Également, fait son apparition dans la pitaine un peu plus tôt, directement de l'affichage. Attention, retour au stand de Lewis Hamilton. Après la course au stand, profite de la neutralisation de Lewis Hamilton pour chausser les pneus.
And also into the pits, not only Lewis Hamilton, but Valtteri Bottas. And Valtteri slowed right up in order to... There's a couple of debris on circuit, which is exactly... Oh, we've got side by side there.
Which obviously led to Valtteri having some front wing damage, had to pit again. He ruled him out of the race, and of course got matched up with a 5-second grid penalty, 5-second time penalty at the end of the race, which unfortunately demoted him from second place, a very well-deserved second place, almost first place, to fourth place, which was very, very annoying. That really, really was, because it was a second place, if you forget about the time, and yes, obviously fourth place. It changed it as well because, see, Sebastian Vettel didn't push Max to his fullest extent because, because obviously Max had the time penalty. So Seb going for second place, destroying his tyres, wasn't worth it. You know, he may as well have just stayed behind Max and got third, which wasn't great for us to see. Obviously, I'd like Seb to have done a lot better. I did think he could. People were saying that he had a lot fresher tyres. But yes, obviously, in terms of permutations and in terms of, you know, how the tyres are going to do, we saw how Lewis Hamilton's was dying really, really fast. You know, for that, you know, it was, yeah, Seb's more kind of Alain Prost, professor kind of thinking was, yes, just to stay behind Verstappen.
Le hashtag Danke Niki, effectivement, et c'était les mots de Lewis Hamilton au moment où il a passé la ligne d'arrivée. Celle-là, elle était pour Niki, effectivement. Très très belle victoire de Lewis Hamilton devant Sébastien Vettel, Valtteri Bottas. Après application, je le rappelle, des 5 secondes de pénalité de Max Verstappen avec la Red Bull qui glisse en 4e position. Il a été vaillant, Max Verstappen. On n'a pas grand-chose de reprocher. Il a tout essayé, il a essayé ce qu'il devait faire. Il a tenté tout ce qu'il pouvait faire en tout cas pour essayer de prendre le meilleur sur Lewis Hamilton, aussi bien Hamilton que Vettel que...
Obviously, Lewis Hamilton doing well to manage those tyres as well. Obviously, a very emotional weekend as well after the passing of Niki Lauda. Yes, the Formula One paddock, the Formula One drivers were wearing red caps with Niki on them. Obviously, brought them out on the press conference. Just quickly on that, yes, obviously that was very special to watch. It was great to see them, you know, wearing them. It really is, you know, definitely a very significant thing that he did in the paddock, obviously wearing that red cap. it was very special at Mercedes as well. Obviously, remembering Niki Lauda, they had the red halo. Obviously, a lot of the drivers, including Charles Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and of course Lewis Hamilton, had attributed their helmets to Niki Lauda. All the teams, Dank and Niki, a lot of support on the cars as well. And of course, obviously, the minute silence that they had before the Monaco national anthem was very moving. A minute silence, obviously, the TV screen showed, some of old Niki Lauda's old photos and driving. And yes, it was very, very moving. I remember them actually saying that, wear a red cap to the race, or a cap to the race. Obviously, unfortunately, I didn't actually have one with us. It was just too muggy and it's just too hot to wear one. But yeah, I really wish I did have one because I really would have taken my hat off to Niki Lauda. A very, very special tribute to him as well. As John said in the review, the horns of the boats did go on after. And yes, it was just a very, very emotional race, a very emotional minute silence. And yes, obviously, for a race, we lost Charlie Whiting in Australia. And, obviously that really marred the Australian Grand Prix. To have another loss before one of the biggest races as Mercedes dominate was just very, very upset. And again, I'd just like to add my condolences to the family of Niki Lauda and to say my respects, and again just to dedicate this video to Lauda. It was just great to see Lewis Hamilton win for Niki Lauda. Obviously, presented it dedicated the win to him. So he touched the halo as well. Cheers, mate. Obviously, to the guy who basically got him into the team. Back in 2013. So obviously that was something that, it isn't really remembered, but obviously it is very, very special. When he went to McLaren, it was all Niki Lauda got him into the team. So that was really great as well. Obviously, great to see Toto as well. He was very, very happy with, obviously, the win, in the honour of Niki as well. And of course, normal Formula 1 extending their lead in the constructors, and obviously Lewis's in the drivers. So it was really, really great to see. But Sebastian Vettel did break up the Mercedes 1-2. It was definitely strange because, yes, there was no Max, but he did break up that. So, yes, obviously, I've talked about the race quickly first, but, yes, obviously, just talk about my, where I was sitting. So, yes, obviously, as I've just said, it was in Le Rocher, the grandstand, the general admission. Everywhere else, the grandstand, the only general admission spot. So, my view of Le Rocher, now, it was definitely strange. It's the furthest away. There is definitely tracks where you are a lot closer to the action. You couldn't see Raskas Corner, unfortunately, because there was a lot of action there. But as I say, you saw into the pit lane. You saw them coming out of the swimming pool chicane, which was really, really great. Now, the cars made them look slow. Don't know why. It might have just been an effect of the camera, but they definitely weren't. Made them sound quieter on the camera. Don't know why, but they definitely were. I was expecting them really to roar. And yes, I thought it was great action to be there, to be amongst all the Formula 1 fans, really, really hyped up, really celebrating every single driver. I love it when, a driver, if something comes up about a driver, doing an overtake, and you hear who is a fan of who. Obviously, a lot of things were happening behind us, a lot of Max support, not as much Lewis support, which was odd, because everywhere you go in the world, you do find Lewis fans and Mercedes fans, but I will admit, guys, there was very few Mercedes and Lewis fans and Valtteri fans here in Monaco. I would say the most people was Ferrari, so Leclerc and Vettel. Yes, there was a lot of Max Verstappen fans as well, maybe generally Red Bull fans, but obviously, as I've just said at the start, a lot of fans coming down from the Netherlands. Obviously, not a bad drive, obviously, all the way just straight down through France, obviously, to support the young Dutchman, which was really, really great to see. Yes, fantastic race as well. Really enjoyed that. It added some more spice, obviously, with what happened to Leclerc. Again, both things that happened to him happened at Raskas. Didn't get to see it. I think there's an old house in the way, which was quite annoying. A few trees, but yeah, great. Quite an unrestricted view. My rating of that, how you have like for football and that, I'd probably say it was about an 80% unrestricted view, but obviously, yes, there is things in the way. Obviously, the pit lane was really, really special to see as well. Yeah, just a really, really great opportunity to go. I think, Monaco is a very special race. Now, coming away from that, obviously, it was special to think that, I have been to, obviously, the 4 oldest races in Formula 1 and in Europe. Obviously, Monza, Spa, Monza, Spa. Obviously, I went to Monza with Jordan in 2017. Silverstone, which obviously I've been to quite a few times. Obviously started in 2010, 2013. Was it 16 with Jordan, which was obviously very special. As I said, that was a safety car race, and obviously me and Jordan are going again in a few months' time. So obviously that is going to be very, very special. I think it's next month actually. Yeah, very, very special to think that. And then obviously Monaco, I've just been to. Monaco as a place, okay, it's, as a Formula 1 fan, it's very special, okay, and I'll admit that, and you can say that till the cows come home. It's really, really special. But in terms of where you would go for a race, okay, maybe it's not the most entertaining place to go. If somebody said, if you could only pick one race to go to, and someone said, would you pick Monaco? If you haven't been before, yes, of course. But if you've been, especially if you've been to Le Rocher, would you do that again? Probably not. I can think of better races to go to than Monaco. Obviously, in Europe as well, it is quite hard. Obviously, Monaco is definitely a big one in Europe as around the world. But there is more races you can go to, and I've just said, Spa-Francorchamps, one of the oldest tracks. Silverstone, the home of Formula 1, there's definitely more places to go. Cheaper places as well, obviously. I mean, you might even just say €100 just to stand in a field. It's nothing that special. But yeah, it was obviously a great thing to do. Now, I'm just going to quickly, rate the kind of experiences where I was standing. So for Spain, again, obviously, you had a great view down into turn 5, I want to say. Going up the hill, obviously there was a little chicane, and then the cars bending around, going up the hill, obviously on the way to the second DRS zone. Obviously the cars look very, very fast, much faster in a straight line. If you watch them go up the hill, which I didn't get that much footage of because there was a lot of people standing around that, the cars are incredibly fast around there, not so much on the straight, but it was a great view. Obviously you get a view, you can see into the paddock as well, you can see the main grandstand, obviously the very iconic old school style like vertical indicator where the drivers are. Obviously great views of Barcelona, obviously sitting into the Catalonian hills, and obviously the French and obviously the Spanish and French Pyrenees, which obviously was very special. Great sunshine as well. Obviously Spain having some very good weather, on average time, especially during the Grand Prix. So the Spanish Grand Prix view, I would give that a strong 9 out of 10. Really, really great for that, and I couldn't fault that at all. It was very accessible. The track is very accessible. Everything was great about it. And, if you would do that again, of course I would, guys. It's actually not that too bad. And I've just said at the start, 3 days for €140. Obviously, don't quote me on that. I'm not giving you your money back if you get it wrong. But yes, €140 is really, really, is very, very good. Obviously, especially if you do it, through packages and things like that. Monaco, on the other hand, Le Rocher was a great experience to do. €100 for a ticket. Now, you might think that's good, but remember that is only 1 day as well. I don't know how much Saturday is, and I don't know how much Thursday is. There was also some track action on Friday, which only happens on odd years. So again, they were selling tickets for that. So a 4-day weekend for Monaco, it might cost you back quite a lot, especially for Le Rocher. And for what you're getting, for what you're paying, especially if you're going to go all that way, it might not be your best option. Le Rocher is a great place to go as well. Obviously, you get to see a lot of the circuit, including the pit lane. It's a great experience to do. You can see you've been to Monaco. Also, you get a great view of the harbour. You get a great view of some of the yachts out. And as I say, you get to see very little snippets of the circuit around. Like, so for example, as I say, going up the hill and coming out of the tunnel. You get to see some great views, obviously, coming out of the tunnel and things like that. Really, really special. But if you're going to do that again, I would say, it's probably not the best. In my old review, and I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because yes, I just felt like Monaco, it didn't have the hype that I was expecting it to have, obviously going into, seeing it on the telly and things like that. But don't get me wrong, guys, it's very, very special to be at Monaco. Obviously one of the oldest tracks in the world. Obviously, as I say, the 77th edition of the Formula 1 of the race of the Formula 1 racing there. The 66th edition of actual Formula 1 Grand Prix racing, and 90 years since the first racing in Monaco took place. Obviously the first one back in 1929, so obviously very, very special from them. And again, guys, it's very simple, but just think it's how special it is. You are in the richest city in the world, and there is a Formula 1 race going on alongside basically where people live. I mean, the drivers live, meters up the road. Lewis Hamilton said he could see his apartment from the Grand Prix track, which obviously was very, very special. I wish I could as well. I wish. Yes, obviously, great to do those. But obviously, yes, guys, if you're going to go to those races, they will be incredible to go to. Monaco, for the history, for the prestige, and obviously Spain, accessibility, possibly the cheapness of it, and yes, just a great track all around. Remember, we wouldn't be going there, we wouldn't have winter testing there if it wasn't a great track, but obviously in terms of its future, I am not going to say much on this because obviously that isn't a video about this, talking about the 2019 one and not about the 2021. But obviously, yes guys, so thank you very much for watching this video. Obviously that was me talking about the 2 races that I managed to go to. Obviously very, very special, obviously very blessed, if I was going to use a Lewis Hamilton word, to go to those races. Obviously, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it's been great for the F1 Debate Show as well, so you're getting some good footage. And obviously, yes, and thank you to John as well for doing those episodes while I was away. So obviously, the next Grand Prix we'll be doing is the British Grand Prix. Me and Jordan will be on there. It's a very much an F1 Debate Show Grand Prix because we're planning some, vlog. We're planning a big vlog. We're planning everything for that weekend. Obviously, touch wood, you know how bad British week went if you were around for that. Obviously, I'm not leaving a link to that in the description. You can, if you want to watch that, go ahead. I don't care. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So obviously, but yeah, 2019 will be very special for that. Obviously, make sure you stay tuned for that. So obviously, thank you very much for watching, guys. Obviously, I'm back to normal. I'll be on, I'll be on there as the summit goes on the F1 Debate Show. Obviously, me and John back to normal. Obviously, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this episode, guys. And until next time, we'll see you later.